Vengeance arc? Right, because he... Wait, why is there a Storytime Vengeance arc? It's because he liked Pauline, right? And she is super fucking dead because of the psycho guy. We're in for the best song in the game as soon as Door 3 starts. I'm excited. This looks like an E-tier game. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, it's an E-tier game. Welcome in, Dots. I have my LPT GNT, and we are good to roll. I'll have to catch up. You should, Quinn. This game, definitely, it was strange, and I still think it's quite strange, but it's got good writing, good atmosphere, and, good plot twists so far. So the way I would describe the music, Barry, is it's atmospheric. It works with the art style and the backdrop images to create this really immersive feeling that I really am liking about this game. So I think it's doing a super job. Yeah, I definitely would praise the music and the art style in this game. Alright, let's inspect our memories. Now, if I remember correctly, we are... Bubble Wand! Thank you for the 39 months. I appreciate it. How are you tonight, sir?
I can't believe Arkaden slayed Katie in the last episode.
I can't believe Arkaden slayed Kate. The lore! I was like, wait, Arkaden? Unthinkable. I will do no such hyping. You'll feel the bangers when the bangers come, and this game has plenty of good tunes. Yes. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. So we know the identity. This has been the monster making the weird noise this whole time. And apparently that's because he was speaking Japanese and not whatever language the maid taught him to speak. Which I'm assuming would be Spanish. They seem to be in Spain. Okay. Is there anything you would like? Anything I would like? I don't know, Pengy. You're oddly good at doing that sound. You might be the beast. You know what's funny, though? They were calling him Bestia this whole time, and all we had to do was look up... Like, it sounds like it's a Spanish word. Or at least some kind of European word. I was definitely gooped and also gagged, yeah. The fact that it was Pauline and he murdered her without realizing it was her, I'm just like, what? What? Anything I would like. I'm considering visiting the village. I see. You're going to the village. Oh, well, this is not gonna end well for him. I thought I might be able to get some medicine. I would prefer to bring a doctor here, but no one would come if they learned you were in this mansion. So, he was planning to put on a disguise to enter the village as a person. The white-haired girl smiled when she heard this idea. She had, after all, always wanted him to think of himself as human. Yeah, look at her freaking weird face. Pauline was to me at first, but once the story came together, oof, I know. She was a sweetheart, but she was death flagging for like hours, and I think I had just accepted that she was going to die. However, because she was so pure-hearted, she did not comprehend the full extent of the slaughter he had confessed committing. The revenge he had taken on those who had chased him around. How sinister his cackling and furious his reaping. She did not grasp just how serious it was. She had faith that Bestia had kindness in his heart. If you cannot get any medication, then buy me some oranges, please. Oranges? This is a land blessed by the sun. You should be able to find some wonderful fresh oranges. Some people find the door to be too gruesome with the earlier scenes. I felt like it... Again, it set the atmosphere really well. The creepiness of the mansion, the fact that there was a alleged beast just roaming around inside it, like feasting on people that it lures in. I don't know, maybe I'm just not bothered by it. This is a land blessed by the sun. You should be able to find some wonderful fresh oranges. Will that make you feel better? Yes, it should. Okay. It was more disturbing after the reveal. Yeah, me too. When we found out that it wasn't actually a beast and it was just like an insane Japanese guy. Bestia's mind was made up. He would don the skin of a human for her to protect the peace he had. Yeah, the ship sequence was disgusting. The torture. He would return to the place that had left him with many painful memories. It was to him the source of his fear. Whenever he let his guard down, their shouts would play back in his mind. Bestia! 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 Hideous beasts! Though he had physically conquered the people who lived there, Bestia's memories of the village still haunted him. But her health meant more to him than any of that. He was willing to cast aside his fear if it meant the white-haired girl would recover. The girl still in her bed, he made his way out of the mansion, and that's the last time he's ever going to see her, because you know this is not going to end well for him. He crossed the overgrown forest, pushing forward one step at a time, all the while trying to brush aside his apprehension, until he arrived at the village. This is where they call me a beast, where I was almost killed, and where I killed them. I'm more worried about the people in the village. Well, I look different than I did then. I'm dressed differently too, but can I play the part? Can I act a convincing enough human? I have no choice. There are no other villages. I can't let her die. Excuse me, could you answer a question for me? A village man is looking at me, only for a moment. But for that moment... But for me, that moment is torturously long. A faint look of panic crosses his face, perhaps in fear of my appearance. He's staring at me. Will he point his finger and call me a beast? Will the other villagers come to kill me? However, haven't seen you around here before. Didn't recognize me. Yes, I come from a faraway land, and I'm unfamiliar with this area, so... Ha! You're dressed like a nobleman. on a secret trip or something? Something like that. God. You look really pale, though. Searching for a doctor? Yes, but not for me. My companion has come down with a fever. Sorry to hear it. Well, I'd love to introduce you, but he's out right now. And he won't be back for a few days. I see. And where might I be able to buy fruit? There's a shop just around that corner. Thank you very much. Don't mention it. You take care, traveler. It's dangerous out there. I'm starting to attract attention. But not the same kind as before. They don't look at me with revulsion, hatred, or furious indignation. They're simply curious. The village feels different than last time. Could it have changed this drastically? Or is it because I really did look like a beast back then? And now I look like a human. I don't know. Excuse me. Me? Yes? I would like to buy some fruit. Some oranges. Oranges? Alrighty, just give me a sec. The fruit vendor doesn't recognize me as the beast either. Any other year, and they'd be a lot plumper than this. Everyone treats you different when you look rich. That's what he's learning. Well, like, that's kind of fucked up. Like, he was off of a shipwreck. And a Japanese man, which I guess would be strange for them to see. But still, it's like, damn. But this year, we've had the end of the war and this whole mess with the beast, and it's been crazy. If you'd like, how about you come back in a few years and try our oranges again? They'll be several times better, I assure you. Oh, hey, Jordan! Yeah, he's a sociopath for sure. What's going on, Jordan? I'll keep that in mind. You bet. That'll be... I'm sorry, I don't have any local currency. Would this suffice? Well, how... is... No good, I take it. No. On the contrary, it's hardly fair for you, trading a jewel for a few oranges. You just returned... Oh yeah, from your work outing. How was that? My goodness, how wonderful! Time for a nap. Yeah, Jordan, take a nap so that I can rope you into playing Jackbox later tonight. It was far away. That's no bueno. Yeah, take your nap. And then there's gonna be Jackbox party later, and we would love to have you. That's all I have to offer. I hope you can exchange it for money. Sure. You nobles are something else. Noble. You'll nap as you Ayuden? Oh, fun. Very, very fun indeed. Aren't you? Though, if you wander around dressed too well, you put yourself in danger. You might find yourself stripped bare by a bandit, or perhaps even catch the attention of the beast. The beast. Everyone mentions the beast. They speak of me. Oh hey, Jackie Box! Have you heard the tales? I have not. There's a beast den not too far from this village. It's attacked before, and we've been living in fear, never knowing when it might attack again. Yeah. Well, we might introduce you tonight, Jordan, so please prepare yourself. But that all ends today. The men have finally found their spines. They all got together and went out to exterminate it? Oh! That means... That means the white-haired girl's in danger, right? You must have missed so much, Fat Morgan. Okay, what's the last thing you saw, Jordan? I can catch you up in like 5 minutes. Last episode was really crazy. We were on the second door. Okay. What did you see in the second door? Because the second door was like about the beast living in that mansion. The maid taught the beast how to be human and how to speak. The beast killed a merchant and then like got off on it. So anybody that came to the house, he decided that he would like treat them well and then kill them in the middle of the night. And he was doing this until the white-haired girl showed up from the first door, but she's blind and has a bob cut now, and she's slightly older despite it being 100 years later. And then he found companionship with her because when he tried to kill her, she wasn't afraid of him and said that he was human. And the beast was like, well, I'm not human. But she treated him like one, and he liked that. And then one day, another beast showed up at the mansion, and he was scared that it was going to kill his white-haired girl, which is basically the symbol of his peace. So he killed the other beasts. There was a beast off. However, while this was happening, there was also flashbacks about that first merchant that visited the beast's mansion, and about how the merchant had a love back home named Pauline. And after he had gone missing, Pauline decided to look for him. So Pauline came to this village and ended up at the mansion, only to find out that this man you're looking at on screen right now is, in fact, both her lover and the beast. And the reason he's being called a beast is because he was a Japanese man shipwrecked, and they're in like Spain. We think they're in Spain or Portugal, one of the two. And all the people were ridiculing him, calling him a beast, probably because he was like an emaciated, shipwrecked person that looked less human than usual because he hadn't been eating and was probably somewhat feral. And then he's basically fucked up in the head dealing with the villagers and like remembering how they tried to kill him. And the other beast that showed up at his doorstep was in fact Pauline. So anyone Japanese resembled the beast to him. So, he killed his ex... Yes. He killed his ex-lover without realizing who it was, while she's totally heartbroken. And now the white-haired girl got sick, so he's braving going to the village to get her medicine. And, the person that is selling us oranges just mentioned that all the men in the village are marching to the mansion to kill the beast, but the beast is in the village, and the white-haired girl's in the mansion, so... That's why this is kind of a gag moment. What? And you'll never guess who's responsible. A kid. A little boy is spearheading the attack. Never would I have expected a little kid to whip all our lazy, cowardly men into shape. So this little kid that they're referencing is actually the little boy that befriended Pauline when she was searching around the village for her lost lover. The boy's the only one who knows where the beast den... Oh, hold on. What about your oranges? The men have banded together. And they're going to kill the beast. Why now? Why when I'm not there? The beast, I'm right here. I'm what you're trying to hunt. The only person at the mansion right now is her.
Hiya, cutie.
He regretted not asking the fruit vendor how long ago the party set off. Though, what good would that knowledge have done him? Oh yeah, he had to hurry back regardless. The sun was beginning to set, draping the surroundings in a deep blackness, as if to keep him from returning home. The night wrapped its hand around his head, covering both eyes. Wait a minute. I'm gonna lower this just a tiny bit because it's giving. In what direction did he have to head to return to the mansion? Look, it's still playing. It's just I don't want it to get picked up by my mic. He stormed through the forest, and eventually the mansion appeared before him, like the world fading into view after a dream. Bestia was a tempest in the night, blowing through the overgrowth toward the house. Please make it in time. I need her. I need the peace she provides me. The last thing I want is for her to die. In the blink of an eye, he was through the door, charging down the mansion's halls. He could not sense anyone else inside, though. All he could hear was the whoosh of the wind blowing into the house from somewhere. It seemed a window was open. Where are you? Where have you gone? Please answer me. Please answer me. He cried out the girl's name again and again until his throat was sore and his voice hoarse. But she did not respond. He rushed into her bedchamber. Hey! Why? Hello? Where are you? Where are you? Answer me! The man swung his head back and forth so hard he thought he might break his own neck. And when he made to look down, he slipped, falling on his tailbone. He felt something slick on his hands, a sensation he would recognize anywhere. The liquid was still warm. No, it cannot be. It can't. It can't. It cannot be! Muttering incomprehensibly, in fear, he crawled back through the door of her chamber and into the corridor. Like a genuine beast, he followed the trail of slippery fluid on all fours. The trail glimmered like red wine. It stretched down the hall past the living room, smeared across the floor like it had been wiped down with a mop. It's creepy. The man crawled and crawled and crawled until at last he reached the stairs leading down to the cellar. The ruby trail continued. From beyond the door, he could hear men's voices. With a howl, the man stumbled down the stairs, throwing open the wooden door. His first impression was that the stench of blood was suffocating. And indeed, there he discovered the white-haired girl. He found himself unable to even scream. Her once porcelain skin was no longer even sickly pale. It was now the bloodless color of dirt. Are all the stories in the same house? Yes. Just different periods of time. So they just killed her? She was sprawled haphazardly out on the cellar floor, dried blood stains around her half-open mouth, and those lips were naturally lacking their former rosy sheen. Her body was covered with an array of wounds, and the most prominent was the man's singular sword standing tall in her chest. They just murdered the shit out of her! What? This is the Bestia? He doesn't look the same. It's him. He's the same guy. He's the Bestia. Several villagers surrounded him at the behest of the young boy. He's gotten himself dressed up all proper and fancy, but good clothes don't make him a good man. Isn't that right, you bestia? No. You murderer! Why did you kill her? 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 Why? You want to know why? Her death was an accident, I'd say. Feel bad about what happened. But any woman who would live with a man like you must be a witch. Does that hurt? Are you hurting right now, you bestia? Sounds like Tux broke again. Yeah, I know. He can't be fixed at this point. Then maybe now you understand. You not only stole my parents and friends from me, you ripped the last shard of hope I had from my hands. Do you get it? Do you finally understand how I feel? Now do you get how it feels to have someone you cared about taken from you? Pauline, was desperately trying to find you. Why? Why would you kill someone so devoted to you? Do you understand what you've done? I'm asking you a question, you goddamn murderer. I see. And now I have nothing left. What? The man stepped forward, almost perfectly calm. His panic had vanished as if it were never there. His eyes were disruptingly vacant. Perhaps the sorrow... Oh, this is gonna be bad. Perhaps the sorrow had overpowered him, beating his heart into quiet submission. No, that was not the case. Though his eyes were empty, a faint smile spread across his lips. The transition was swift, as though a gear had switched in his mind. The boy and the other villagers were frozen in place at the sight. Before long, the man was standing before the deceased girl's body. Standing. Oh no. Why do you... I forget that you're a Bleach person sometimes, Rosen. Yeah, we're playing Fat Morgan.
Yes.
And then he pulled the blade from her chest. I knew it. I really was a beast. And what I wanted was a tether. What are you yammering about? Didn't you care about that woman? Didn't you choose her over Pauline? Who you then threw aside and butchered? What is wrong with you? What was she to you? She was my serenity. She's dead now. And there's nothing I can do about that. Peace, calm, tranquility. The man's behavior was downright eerie, causing the boy to flinch back. Believing he'd had everything taken from him and could not possibly lose anything more, I imagine what had allowed him to stand up to the beast, the source of such crippling fear. Yet now he found himself unable to move. He found himself in the face of such an incomprehensible creature, paralyzed with fear. If you haven't heard of it, a Fata Morgana is a real-life phenomenon. Oh, I did not know that. The villagers were similarly dumbstruck. Not even I could understand his behavior. What the hell is wrong with you? How can you laugh at us? I don't get it. How? Indeed. I wonder myself. I don't know either. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. Because every last one of my anchors has broken off and sunken into the sea.
What lies at the bottom of the sea?
Anchors! Okay, he's about to full Nagito, like... Okay. Damn it, get moving! Kill him! I'll slaughter every last one of you! Okay, he said thing. Kuroi, get the
Focus
emos!
on this battle.
My whole life. I've always wanted to kill. What was it that afflicted you with such madness? Losing your memory in the shipwreck? The abuse and insult you suffered at the villagers' hands? Or was it your grief at not being able to return to your homeland? No, none of those were the root. You were always like this. You always bore the twisted desires. You held these deep, constant urges to cause harm to others. That is your essence. That is your essence, the real you hidden beneath the mask of sincerity. The true beast was your heart. Yeah, what a nice bedtime story. The beast was a convenient skin for you to wear. You wanted to be a brutal, savage murderer. You never really loved the white-haired girl, or the black-haired woman for that matter. You were merely attached to them. Fixated on the idea of a world of tranquility, you used this piece to anchor yourself, to prevent you from drifting off into the ocean of your desires. You yearned to cause pain, while also hungering for the opposite, a calm life. You idolized this idealized life, spent in quiet harmony with another because you knew just how difficult it would be for you to attain. Far more difficult for you than satisfying your cravings, but not impossible. I personally had hoped you would find peace with someone rather than descend into savagery. It may have only been superficial, but it would have been very human. But ultimately, peace slipped through your fingers. And no one was left to suppress your desires. You cannot, after all, hold them back yourself. What a tragic man. What a hopeless man you are. Well... So did he must have murdered Javi and all the villagers. I'm guessing we're back as the main character with the maid now. Okay. The door to the cellar swung shut. You had fallen to the floor at some point, unable to bear the stench of blood. The maid stood behind you, her arms wrapped around your shoulders. The maid's voice was chillingly gentle. Shipwrecked, even. That was quite horrific, wasn't it? Oops, all a cycle of vengeance. It happens. That's why he had to say the Dimitri thing. I have to subscribe to Kronfa1 in order to get Maniac. I feel like that's a really useful emote to have on hand. Are you feeling unwell, Master? Oh my, you're shaking, Master. Fear not. I assure you, the beast will not come through that door. I am here for you, and I will continue to hold for you as long as you need to settle your nerves. Ifrits! Hey, happy Saturday. We just concluded the second chapter of Fat Morgan. It didn't end well. What I will say, did everyone die? Yes, actually. Pauline died, and the white-haired girl is also dead. Now, compared to the first chapter, the white-haired girl did not die in the first chapter. She just had her hair cut off. In this chapter, he actually saw her corpse. So I was kind of thinking she was going to appear in every door. It will be interesting if and when she appears in door 3. Oh dear, you feel like you might freeze in my arms? Am I really that cold? I cannot tell my own temperature. This was like the Black Mirror episode where the soldiers saw monsters in a place of real people and slaughtered them. So, sort of. It basically the beast was a dehumanized man because of what the villagers said when they found him, because he was a Japanese man in a shipwreck. So, because the villagers called him a beast, he considered himself a beast. And when another Japanese person showed up at the mansion, he also saw them as a beast. But the plot twist was that the person that showed up was actually his ex-lover, Pauline, who's a half-Japanese girl, and was searching for him because she didn't want to believe he was dead. But really, the guy was just a fucked up homicidal sociopath for his whole life and was just getting off on killing people. What were the time periods for Door 1 and Door 2? Door 1 was 1600, Door 2 was 1700. Yes, this door was 100% about racism. Time for zombie maid arc? Please no. Also, while he wasn't a beast, he was down for just breaking fingers and killing people for lulz. Yeah. This is as dramatic as Work Jordan, or Work Jordan. So anyways, after they killed the white-haired girl, he said that all of his anchors had, they had pirate fland, and, he just decided to kill everybody in his basement. So. Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. It's a lot. Let's see what the premise for the third door is gonna be. Right now, we're just chilling with not Sharon. You wish to know what happened to Bestia after that? I could open the door once more and show you. But I have no intention of knowingly tossing you back into that den of horrors. We still have no idea who the main character is. So there's several ongoing mysteries right now. We don't know the maid's name. We don't know the name of the white-haired girl. We don't know who the main character is. All three of these things are probably major plot points, so they're just bringing us... We're just along for the ride. We do know the maid's name. Do not say that it's the maid. Do not... Rosen? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. He lost the rest of his humanity, becoming wholly beasts. But, to tell just a little more of the tale, it is my understanding that an entire village was ravaged shortly thereafter. He was a bewitchingly talented swordsman. Not a single person living in that village could stand up to him. In the woman's memories you saw, he was a gentleman, yes? In the woman's memories you saw. Are we talking about Pauline, or are we talking about white-haired Chan? But even the mildest of men can change. Though personally, I believe that without an element of monstrousness buried somewhere within, a man cannot become a beast, regardless of what may push him in that direction. Do you follow? Now tell me, Master, have you remembered anything? Dear, I was afraid of that. I am a remarkably patient maid. I shall accompany you for as long as you require. So do please find your memories. Now, let us head to the next door. The mansion is quite large, so hold on to my hand. We would not want to get separated. You and the maid traveled down the dimly lit hall, passing by the mirror once again. Reminder, we do not have reflections. The light from the candle in the maid's hand was the only thing that reflected in it. The maid herself did not appear. However, just as you were about to avert your eyes, you thought that you caught a glimpse of white hair. Do I need to bring back the white-haired girl is a vampire theory? Do we need to talk about that? Because that's a vampire thing, right? That they don't show up in mirrors? So we're the zombie maid. That would be strange. Or I don't know. The white-haired girl and the maid have to be different people, though. You heard a voice echo in the darkness, and when you turned your face to the mirror again, the glass was the color of obsidian, as if it had been painted over. The voice seems to be coming from beyond the mirror. May did not turn back, evidently having not heard anything. You extend your hand, averted your eyes. Is this a root split? You extended your hand toward the darkness overrunning the mirror. The second your hand brushed against the surface, the tips of your fingers sunk into it, and the next thing you realized your whole world was sinking into darkness. You hear a voice. I am the witch. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. This deep in the forest? Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I'm looking for, yes? Could have said something. Oh well. Should get going, I guess. Does no one live here? If that's the case, then why was I... Such a big door. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. I wonder if the window's open. Darn, not a hint of light. Hello, is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond. So pretty. Looks like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, I'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Who the fuck? Wait. White hair? I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended, but I do think it could use some light. That way you could see where you're walking, and I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessarily. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oil lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here, trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out. I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion? Say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. Cursed witch. If you remain here, you too will likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? Witch or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real. Very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch The witch's name was Morgana. It's me. Okay. So that was like a snippet. Morgana. So Morgana is definitely gonna be one of the people that we need to know their name. So either the MC, the white-haired girl, or the maid. And Morgana's the witch. Go to sleep, Joker. I would say most likely the white-haired girl's name is probably Morgana. Looking cool, Joker. Okay. Who the fuck is Giselle? Giselle could be the maid. Alright. What was that? Giselle? Oh my, what's the matter, Master? Why are you just standing in place? There's nothing here. The maid did not seem to have seen anything. You made to ask her about the scene you had just witnessed. Master, you look like you've seen a ghost. What is the matter? How about a little rest before we move on? You do not wish to remain here? Still not fond of mirrors? Yes, yes, now let us be off. I too dearly wish for you to return to your old self as soon as possible, Master. If your desire is to push onward, then I could hardly be happier. Now follow me. You followed the maid's lead, returning to the living room. From there, you climbed a set of stairs, your hands sliding through the dust that had settled on the ebony railing. When you stepped out of sight of the mirror, the maid returned to normal. You had been on the verge of remembering something, but you were no longer in a position to be concerned about such things. For the chill in the air within the mansion seemed to have intensified. Standing at one end of the long corridor, you asked the maid, "When was the mansion built? I would imagine you know more about that than me, Master." Yes, I know. You have not yet regained your memories. I was simply teasing you. I have been a servant of this house for many, many years, but the truth is, I do not know everything about it. Good evening, Carby. Happy Saturday. How's it going? You're here just in time for a little Fata Morgana sesh. We're having a little drinkies. And there might be Jackbox Party tonight, which I'm very excited for. More Beast Murder? We actually concluded the Beast Murder chapter. It is donezo. And we're going to get into the third door, which is probably going to be an entirely new fucked up thing that's going to happen, so... Yay! All I know is that the mansion is cursed, and that it has brought misfortune upon its residents. Since times of old. I can make a conjecture as to when it began, but I believe you should figure it out for yourself, Master. See all those posters you put up, Carby? Oh. Epic 7? I got annihilated in Guild Wars last night. I didn't get home till like 1:30. And I tried, and I got killed by a 260 speed RNL Janua. There's so many wrong things with that sentence. Yeah, and also the DPS A Tywin. Mm-mm. Yeah, it really feels like Epic 7 is... There's kind of not enough things in the game to combat what they've added recently, in my opinion. Which I'm pretty sure that's what Netmarble-chan wants, right? Like, create very intricate, big problems and then sell the solutions. But it feels... I feel like 90% of the cast is invalidated. I don't think I've ever felt that way before. Oh, Brigitte sucks. So, if Brigitte was good, you would have to have her high effect resistance at, like, 300 speed. That's... And no one is gonna do that. Oh, and on top of it, a plus 30 5-star artifact that was on her banner. Fucking fuck off. That is... Brigitte, it's like you're trying to dress a wound with toilet paper. Give her Zio's passive. Yeah, she's so horrendous. Which is too bad, because, like, I love her. Brigitte's probably my favorite character to come out since Elagos. Design-wise. Not counting ML Bologna, because that doesn't count. Elagos is on Senya's banner this week? Okay. I'll log in and play a little bit. I have really been bad about keeping up with E7 lately. Yeah, ML Senya's OP. You know why? E tier, because if you run her with Janua, it's... it's just so stupid. She's a Janua augmentation tool. Alright, anyways. E7. I actually think it's on
the darkness.
I do feel E7 is on the decline for me, but I'm not ready to quit yet. I believe you should figure it out yourself, Master. There's no guarantee that my perspective is the correct one. Now, let us proceed. You and the maid traveled down the dimly lit corridor. While the layout of the house was the same as in the eras of the flaxen-haired boy and the beast, the bleak, colorless gloom felt incredibly dreary. On the wall, partway down the hall, hung a painting. The painting, which depicted a beautiful landscape, was oddly entrancing, but you did not have time to appreciate the artwork. Your hand in the maid's, you passed by the painting. Before long, a door came into sight at the end of the hall. This door is what I would like to show you next, Master. Listen closely. Do you hear the voices? Lively but rough, energetic but coarse. What lies beyond this door, is neither a period of elegance and abundance like the first, nor one of ruin and savagery.
These vengeful voices.
Savagery like the second. Technology and culture had become quite developed. Cameras and photography had been invented. It was a time of great progress and many breakthroughs, and for that reason, those who lived in it were constantly seeking to try new things. The tale I am about to tell you is one of a man who wagered everything on his ambition. I'm gonna go make another drink before we start this, guys, so give me a sec. Well, yes, I am back. Hello. Alright, so we're going into the third door. I'm gonna tappy tap on my phone for a second just to like get E7 shit happening, and then we're gonna do it. I made another drink and snacked on some coconut and went to the bathroom. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. All right. Okay. There's apparently passwords for some of these things in our inbox. Does anybody know? Ifrit, Carby, Bubblewon? What's going on with that? My god, my daily summon was Junie? Get me out of here. Alright, well. Well now. WCG Rival S24? What does that even, like... What does that string of things even mean? Apparently our guild buffs were about to run out. My goodness, how awful. Alright, I've not logged in today, so there's like a million things being like, tap on me. Oh my lord, I got blasted. Yeah, 2 draws and a loss for me yesterday. Oof. My goodness, how awful. Draft for the coupon code? What coupon code?
Unthinkable!
I know. I got destroyed. I could have won against the Genua team, but RNL happened. I was like, how the fuck is this Genua outspeeding my sinful Angelica? And then he didn't kill her, and then RNL procced, and then he killed her, and I was like, you know what? WCG Rival 24. Yeah. Oh, because I... WCG Rival. Oh, Rivals with an S. This is fucking annoying. Alright, I'm not inputting the other one, okay? I came here for one thing and one thing only, and that's Expos. I will finish the ones that Ifrit might. This is the problem with E7, okay? I sign on for 2 seconds to like make it do something while we play something else, and the game's like, no. Sell your heroes, now sell your artifacts, now do this, now do that. I'm like, can you just not? I'm trying to live my life. 2, 3. Alright. Great. Get out. My lord. Alright, into the next door we go. We need more hero and equipment storage. We do. Yeah, like tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here. Like you could literally, you spend like 5 minutes just tapping. 295 unique characters with a max 300 space. Yeah, that's fucking terrible. I think I'm missing 7 ML5s or 8 ML5s. If I had them, my stock would be just about all full. Now, through the door we go. Please do not let go of my hand. The maid pushed open the door. Colorful balls bounced around atop a long, dark green table. One man dressed in black, standing by the billiards table, turned towards the door. Kizuna. Well, are we gonna build her? The room was inundated with eye-watering cigar smoke, causing you to squeeze your eyes
Absolutely not.
shut. Ifrit, come on. You're being difficult. Here we fucking go. Ah, 1869. So we're going about 170 years past where the other one was. The era was a rat race of innovation and development. The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty, and there was little of that to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room? The one in the middle. The one looking in your direction, Master, was the present master of the house. Jacopo. His name was Jacopo, and though he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. She said in a room full of uggos. I am a faithful servant of the house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a long time past. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. He had wavy hair the color of over-dried tea leaves, a piercing gaze, an arrogant smile, and he wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. But he put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. He loved only the iron and steel that had revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care of other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, Master. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. A billiards table sat in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. The lights shone upon the dark green stand like a stage, cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in place of bookshelves. The cases were always fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to brown of a baby robin to the color of sunburnt wheat. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of the previous eras. Why do you care about the hair color so much? But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited largely by immigrants, the New World. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing. I just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one there unless you've seen a ghost. I don't believe such nonsense. It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two. But if the place is gonna be haunted, I'd take a princess over a bloody broad any day. Princess, eh? And when we showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Color me impressed, son. You jump her bones and she don't even got any to jump. Come on now, that's hardly fair. Not much you can even do with a ghost. My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blatherings of a couple of drunks. Pretend you didn't hear nothing. This stream has nihility written all over it. Excuse me, Tux? Excuse me? I told you I was the path of nihility, and you told me I was something else. So you know what? You're doubling back.
Time for good old counterattack.
Yeah. Let's go. Actually, is she even nihility? Kayla's something else, isn't she? She's like a debuff class. Well, different debuff. Not damage over time. I'm Beatles, Peng Tong? Oh, that's what you always... No. And now you can't change your mind. You already said I'm nihility, thank you. I'm done. Thank you kindly for admitting the truth that I'm nihility. Beetle, Bug, Tong, Action Woman, L. What are you even saying at this point? Tuxapalooza. For the love of God! In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. I thought I'd paid it off, but it always sounded sketchy to me. I recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing but a nice, fat pile of debt. You could have mentioned that beforehand. Ugh, this is killing me. The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room. As they imbibed alcohol and puffed on cigars, they conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. They survived on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight, though instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality, they were observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly, and when they were no longer of financial value to one another, their relationship would pop like a bubble and dissipate into nothing. But you know, Jacopo, you can't be sure this railroad you're so passionate about is going to bear fruit neither. You don't even know if it'll get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, will it really be in any shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Jacopo went silent, but I am certain this is what was going through his head. You're a bunch of damned imbeciles if you can't see the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. OMG E7. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and the bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east, and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. Is that the Amaterasu Express? Cocoa Head, all aboard? You know what I love? Every episode at the beginning of Traders UK 2 that we're watching, it shows the train, and I always think it's the Amaterasu Express every single time. You know, Raincoat ended up not being a fantastic game, but the intro to that game is extremely memorable and good. It's too bad. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there have been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific. It's Doom Train. Now wait a minute. I did suplex a train in Final Fantasy VI. Ah, you mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang they are. But if this gets to be much bigger of a fix, they're not gonna be able to continue construction. You should have at least put your money in the more sure bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more. My goodness. And here I thought you all had spines. Think we're gonna run out of workers just because if you ate it? Ha! There's so many, we don't even know what to do with them all. There's not a chance that well will dry up. And if by some chance it does, all we have to do is scoop up a shipful of blacks or yellows. Wow! Okay, extreme racism? Yeah, he said that? That's really not... Where's Tux? Oh, that's not, oh, that's not, oh, that's not, oh, that's not. This thing does not hold back. Yeah, he's the real beast. You wouldn't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. You were so taken aback that I didn't compute. The maid had her opinions for a reason. Yeah, true that. So Robopon, hey Ricardo. Hi. I saw that you posted Robopon in my Discord out of nowhere, and I was like, fuck.
The kitchen is closed.
Anyways. Hey, Robopon is on the list, Ricardo. So if you think I'm kidding, alright, take that. Three Houses video essay. It's real. It's there. It is there slightly in jest, though, because I put LOL after it, which means I make it fun. However, it is there. You won't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the methods to obtain it are messy or deadly. The other men in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with his way of thinking, Master? Perhaps he does have a point, in that great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. And it is true that the tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the times, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Now, as I'm sure you have already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion, too, bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, and artists. At times, he even had riders coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle, personally. But please do not get me wrong, I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master. There's no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Game OST is good. It is. This game has really fitting music and visuals. So it's a super cool game so far. Fata Morgana gets a bit political. Yeah, I would say. Had a little critique of history going on. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. Imagine he answers the door and it's just... From beyond the doors came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. This is the evil Partitio world line. Partitio was just the purest and bestest of boys. Pardon me, I have made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? And just like that. Are her eyes red still? You know what, though? This is her best look yet, I would say.
You won't get away.
Yeah, she looks Himeko-y. Also, I think we need to bring back the wave of Himeko 2. That was a real good era when it happened. Although soon I'm gonna...
never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
Soon I will be bringing in Fire Emblem Fates voice commands, and that is gonna definitely run the channel for at least a few weeks. Some Fates lines are really fucking weird. When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. It was indeed her. Are you surprised, or did you anticipate her appearance? Kinda odd, I was thinking about the Himeko 2 when I first joined stream. Aikun Madonna made a show for free in Copa Banana to 1.7 million people, and everybody lose their mind. Well, are you going or not, Ricardo? Well, Ricardo, are you going or not? It was the 4th in May? Oh, so you missed it. Unbelievable! It was indeed her. Are you surprised, or did you anticipate her appearance? I absolutely anticipated it. Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl, whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses, and the era of the beast, who was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife. Tea, I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make it? I wasn't, but I had these leaves with the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for? Hey now, no need to treat your lady like that. She was just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends were unsure about how to react, but ultimately, nobody stepped up to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den. What the hell do you think you're doing? I've told you time and time again to stay away from the room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry. But, I made tea and... Shut up about the tea already. You think we're having tea parties in there like a bunch of prissy nobles? Sorry. If you really feel so bad, don't go in there in the first place. Get the hell back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Yeah, he's better than Nelly. Got it? Now scram. Sakes alive. First them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, what? When will you spend time with me next? It's been some time since we last went out together. But we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together would... How many times are you going to make me repeat myself, you worthless tramp? Are those ears only for show? Go back to your goddamn room. Apologies. Damn, what? Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. Bow. Hello. Happy Saturday. It's looking like today is going to be a Jackbox day, by the way. You were asking if I was going to play Among Us this weekend. It's looking like Jackbox. Which you are very welcome to join us for if you would like to. What a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. Yeah, I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. As you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him. But he not only brushed her aside, but he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, Master, why she married him? The answer to that question will come to light in time. For now, let us follow her. And that's why I killed him. You imagine? Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. I may head to the city, friends asking me to come out. Oh, okay. Well, if you're home, you have a place to hang. And if not, you'll be out having fun. So it seems like a win-win. Super, super. Yeah, that sounds no problem. Posting an Expo E7, by the way, guys. Wait, this is also kind of a banger song. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. You get on the expo right away. Thank you, Rosen. Even though you're lying to me. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it, nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the halls said nary a word to her. As a matter of fact... Oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl, who had fallen to the floor, stared helplessly at the broken cups. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior toward the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress, and she became the target for them to let off this steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface, and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacopo's bride, but behind closed doors they acted very much the opposite. Hey, what's up, Yummy Ellie? The disparity between the treatment she received around others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, as you have seen through the other doors, Master, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand nor raise her hand in retaliation. To get this cleaned up, she extended her spindly fingers towards the shards of shattered porcelain. Disparity? Wrong. No, wrong! But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had sort of a taboo beauty to it. The blood spilling from her fingers showed no signs of slowing down. She clenched her hands into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. And when she did... Oh dear. Madam! Madam! It's Ellen? What's the matter? Madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over shouting to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's all right, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all right. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her? You disgust me. Maria, it's fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's all right, really. It's my fault. Anyway, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get you back to your room, okay? But the broken cups and spill. As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. Icon alert, who, Maria? She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master's fond of her. Oh, okay. Maria's gonna be important to this door. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. And she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with the respect and kindness that she deserved. And I'm sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of the house, I was also one of the maids working there at the time. However, I was unable to involve myself to any degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in the times of pain and unpleasantness. Maria is a diva that inspires. Oh no. Well, do you also like her, Ricardo? Is that what I'm hearing? The best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. Cool. Yeah, she's cool. That does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. They're in Nellie's room. No one else is in the room, you know. Oh, right. Then I can drop the act. Man, I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. I'm out here doing my best, but the head maid's still spouting stuff like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Eesh, come on, just shove it, would ya? You're a damn creep. Maria looks like she's gonna sing The Hills Are Alive. I thought they were about to have a les moment. But apparently she's like a country girl, like improper, and shouldn't be a maid. That's what they're getting at. They still might be les. I'm just thinking because she looks like Ellen DeGeneres. Now, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kind of gives me the willies, you know? Speaking of, you dropped the stuffy talk too, madam. Kinda awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know? This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though. It has a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's not. Oh, that's not. You know, that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No. You were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship. And at some point, they began to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. Alright, so we know, no matter what, in this door, the fucked up shit that's gonna happen is gonna have something to do with Maria. she's either secretly evil, or she's gonna die, or like something really awful is gonna happen to her. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that, Master? Some questions are better left unasked for your own good. So you're the head maid, the maid! She could get a fancy new white wig. She's going to be the Unohana. Oh no, not more Bleach references. Who's Kenpachi? I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. See, they're so les. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. Think so? Mine haven't the slightest bit of muscle. You're about as frail as dead branches. They're about as frail as dead branches, not you. Oops. She is still going with this! Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What'd you say? Stop that, Maria. Seriously. I'm kidding. Just kidding. Oh, Maria. Right. How did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you, end up with extra, I think you could spare a sip for me? That was, what was in the cups I dropped What? Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it? God, why does that man have to have such a stick up his ass? You went through all the trouble of making it for him, and he was busy. It's not his fault. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a damn cigar? It may look to us like they're just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. It was impudent of me to try and step into the men's world. Why is the white-haired girl always involved in a love triangle? Actually, though, that is a astute observation, Rosen. First, it was Nellie and Mel. Dearest Mel. I kind of miss Nellie. Yeah, there was Nellie and Mel and the white-haired girl, and then in the last one it was Pauline, Bestia, and the white-haired girl, and now it's apparently the maid, the white-haired girl, and Jacopo, although I'm not sure he's involved at all with being interested in her, but I guess they're married, so who knows. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? It doesn't bother me. You don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. Add a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have a perfect tea time. You're singing the siren's song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him. He would not have the tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so... Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but... It's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty, well-educated, and still young. There's hope, even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick to that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. There you go again. There was a time when he was kind. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not. There was indeed a time. Say, Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? I'll make some tea and we can talk. Alright. If you're telling me about when Jacopo was decent, I'm all ears. And other women. So, is the game's OST completely different for each door? Because that's kind of cool. As I'm sure you're aware, our parents arranged our marriage. Before I emigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a misty island nation. Portraits of my ancestors hung in the house where I lived. I remembered as a child wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. Okay, gotcha, Dots. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. However, they were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so too did my parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacopo's parents' marriage proposal. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status, and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needed more than money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi-reputable name attached to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jacopo here, in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until the day of our wedding. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? Was I to be wed to some middle-aged stranger? We were not marrying because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, and when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young, had strong, masculine eyes. I have the hiccups. And at the same time, he too appeared nervous. He was shaking as much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacopo if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do. And in that moment, I experienced true love. You wanted to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you could call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked, "Where would you like to go?" Beg your pardon? That's what this week is for, right? I'll consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go. This is all so sudden. Nothing. Well, this whole engagement was spur of the moment. Normally, we would have planned a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we act the part. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as it's happening. No, What? Speak clearly. I don't like it when people don't speak their minds. Sorry. But I'm happy. Even if this is a political marriage. Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way? Well, either way, if you're so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on the destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What? Something funny? It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon has begun and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Perhaps you've heard, but I'm quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health. So it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but, if it's not too much trouble, speak up. Could you show me around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs, and I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around. Yes. Would that be possible? On a rare bit of time off, you ask me to show you around town? Is that really the most exciting idea you have? I'm sorry. If, there is somewhere you would like to go, I'm fine with that. I will accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed to being sickly all over the country. My god, I've lost all interest in a trip. Hello? What are you doing? Get ready. Now. Beg your pardon? You want to see the town? So, this is her favored memory of him. He is still being such an asshole. You will show me around? You're the one who asks. They want to go to Wendy's? Ooh. Not like I have any other obligations, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Just stand there, you dullard. Get a move on. One moment. Wait for me, please. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. I am not impressed. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly, but I was pleased that he was making an attempt to interact with me at all. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I had spent most of my time cooped up inside my home, so it was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place, I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the backs of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival, and every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them to just remain afloat. Had I not married the man I had, I might too have found myself on the streets in a similar position. And it was not relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them, it was pangs of guilt. It felt to me like a life of opulence was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jacopo snorted disapprovingly at me, seemingly reading my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich covets his wealth and finds ambition to make the same for himself. And the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is far more nefarious. Excessive charity will ruin a man, make him come to expect handouts. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. What a joke. If you're going to do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upward, spur on economic growth and the flow of capital. Doesn't that sound like a better option?" I say, simply smiling and giving an ambiguous nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty of my own fortune, I acted upon the pity in the way that he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. He had seemed to have seen straight through my very core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investment, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from the distance, as others climbed, but obviously I could not say as much to him. Sometime later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexedly, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before he spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the case were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first, I had no idea what the devices were. "Have you never had a photo taken before?" "No, I have had a portrait painted, though." "Are these machines for taking photographs?" "Portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised?" Okay, this is interesting. What if they take her picture and she doesn't show up? I did not mean to boast. Go on, get in. Please wait for me. The owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop. "Well, this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You're bringing a lady, and a real looker at that. Where on earth you catch this pretty little thing?" "She's my wife." "Huh. Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show you never know where the cards may fall." Make it sound like my getting married is some kind of miracle. I always saw you as one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me. This isn't appropriate for me to say in front of your wife. Do you often come to the shop? On occasion. I need some things here from time to time. I see. There you go, smirking again. What's so funny? We're going to have our photo taken, yes? I'm so nervous and excited. I've never had one before. Okay. I'm excited for the photo moment, but quick bathroom break, guys. I'll be right back. Well, yes, I am back. Thank you for waiting, everyone. Okay, so we are getting close to a white-haired girl taking a picture. Diamond! Hello. Hi. Happy Saturday. Apparently we are doing Jackbox tonight, so it should be a really fun time. Yeah, very exciting.
Wow, it's so much fun!
So much fun! Yes, and we're drinking and we're chilling. And happy Pride also. Alright, Fata Morgana is Morgana-ing, and we're about to see if she's a vampire or not. This little bitch ate? Wait, Diamond, what do you mean? Tell me more. And to have it taken side by side with you. What are you talking about? Pardon? Ah, yeah, I love the Pride emotes. I use Pride Uwu basically every time I talk in a chat in Twitch. Like, it's my go-to emote, I think. I try to use it, because, you know, it's, like, kind of like a weird, like, self-promotion flex if you use your own emotes in somebody else's chat. You know? So, like, I feel like Pride Uwu is very neutral. And also, 2020 Bye, guys. I love that one, too. That's my desired way to say hello and goodbye. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's a good one. It's like, hey. Hello. Yes. I used to subscribe to this streamer only for her emotes. I never ever watched one of her streams. Her name was not Jen, and she had this emote of this girl like it was so funny to me 7 years ago. I would subscribe to her with my Twitch Prime every single month. And I never ever watched one of her streams. I wonder what happened to her. I wonder if she still streams. What are these? Yeah. Random gift subs. I love... Wait, what do I have from random gift subs? Let's see. Okay, so I apparently got gifted to Elf Mage. So I can do these. I got gifted to Vega, so I can do these. Okay, I subbed to Spec. Oh, I got gifted to Endy. That's fun. Endy is so wholesome. I can do these. I got gifted to Wesley at some points. I literally have no idea who this person is. Spoons? I've been gifted, so I can do... I'll just pick some of these. I was gifted to Vic Chun. Absolutely not. Okay. These are all my gifted subs. Who is this bitch? Casey Tron. How dare you? Yeah, it's like at what point in my algorithm did I get a gift sub from somebody? I don't think I've watched Spoons ever, but maybe like a raid took me there and put me on their list of like someone that's ever watched the stream ever, like watched the stream. I don't know. I think that's how Twitch works, maybe. Well, anyways. Who said we were getting our pictures taken? And side by side? Please. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about, is it ready? Oh, yup. Sit tight. I'll be right out. Hey, you take a seat. There's a chair over there. What? I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera lens. Oh. Just do as I say. Okay. I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else's present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees, but when Jacopo returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. What is this? Do you know what persistence of vision is? The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so if you put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as motion. Seeing for yourself will be faster than explaining it. You see the slits in the disc? Look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Okay. Good, just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Standing behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the peculiar toy, causing it to spin gracefully. Then... Ah. So what do you see? They're dancing. A man and woman are dancing. Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. It's the most adorable thing. What? Adorable? That's funny. I asked to have it modeled after a ballroom dance. Yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kind of cute. And they seem so close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of different pictures in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. Illusion. They're dancing. Oh, but they're dancing. They really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. It's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. but it's the most precious thing. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. I was mesmerized by the strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. He had called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world, separate from our own. They looked so happy. I was almost certain that they were off dancing in their joyous world, free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. Ah, they've stopped. They can dance forever. They don't get tired. I see. I'm amazed such an incredible device exists in this world. Makes me wish I had gone outside sooner. I'm sure someone from as distinguished a house as yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have probably never known about moving pictures. The illusion of moving pictures. Do you like it? Yes, of course. More than the portrait you had painted? Yes. Yes, I do. Painting was wonderful too, but you can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me. Which do you like better, the portraits or this? Like this better. See. He looks somewhat pleased. Though, when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for. And I suppose that makes me a child. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two tiny people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick. Quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. You're going to lose your head that far up in the clouds. Oh. I'm sorry. I do not know how else to describe it, though. It's a toy called Phenakistoscope. Phenakistoscope. I have no idea. Phenakistoscope? Phenakistoscope. Phenis wheel. Close enough. It was invented around 30 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one modeled after the original design. So the shop owner drew this? He did. A lot better than you'd expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. I am surprised he could draw something so cute. Say that to his face and he'll go red as a beet. What I'd give to get a load of that. You should tell him the next time you see him. He's a sweet man. Despite how he looks, you mean? It's not right to judge people based on their appearance. Ha, just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. The shopkeep here loves new technology. That phenakistoscope is one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. And if it becomes possible to show those images to many people at once, these developments could broaden the options artists have to express themselves. Not drawings, but photographs? Yes, photos. By taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photographs, it would be possible to reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring, everyday life, though. If you're gonna leave a record of anything behind, it should be of projects and enterprises that move nations. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That would be something worth watching. And then in time, it would expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of artists. Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time just for a single photograph. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will be. And I'm not simply fantasizing here. Is that so? Sounds so very futuristic. Do you... What? Do you want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you are friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. The rich starve for entertainment, and artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. I just want their money. What? What's so funny? You sound like you're enjoying yourself. Honestly, it's about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already? Does that displease you? No, not at all. Tell the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the Phenakis wheel, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. What? But if you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Having that said, Jacobo exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his back and the Phenakis wheel, debating what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." Me? A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a whatever. I don't know why that word is so hard to say. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn brusque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel. But he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. In that moment, the Phenakis wheel became a precious treasure to me. We had only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment, then turned back toward the window and muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to the restaurant for dinner. You call this pizza? This crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? Okay, so he's Italian. This wine is pitiful and unbalanced. Far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. The cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, flushed from the alcohol, and the light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth, but the city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising waves of the economy, many, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. More money in circulation means the city grows, companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. No, I'd wager most don't notice the changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain to call a dream. Others might call it greed. Perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. World? Yes, the world. And to do that, you need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Because I want to change my country, I imagine. Country? You are aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I emigrated from an island in the Mediterranean, though not the same island as you. Oh, is he from Sicily or something? My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, but if nobody does anything about that, I am one of but a few of my fellow countrymen who has the sights on the New World. They are falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love, but there's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you the encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. I suppose. Do as you wish. Thank you. Have my support then. Darling. Sent a shiver down my spine. No, not an unpleasant one. I'm glad to have you as my partner. I don't want to say that's sweet, but for him that's sweet, I feel. She's sad, though. If this is what makes her happy, she's super sad. I was without a doubt happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Thanakis wheel he gave me, they were all undeniably real. And those memories give me the will to wait. Oh, this is so depressing. She's just chasing, like, he didn't even treat her that well. He just was barely passable, and she's chasing that feeling because the way he treats her is so much worse. That's so sad. And I've met people like this, and it's too bad. For the day, things go back to the way they were. The situation honestly is a bummer. It really is. All the iterations of her seem too kind almost to a fault. All the the white-haired girls. Huh. What's interesting about the first white-haired girl, though, is that she tried to kill Mel, remember? Interesting to think about. She did. There was the one night where she snuck into his room and grabbed his neck. Remember, we were stuck on that for like a solid hour. And she opted not to kill him. Well, it wasn't quite... No. No. You are confusing visual novels enough. This game does not deserve to be compared to Steins Gate. And you know that's the truth. This game absolutely does not deserve to be compared to Steins Gate. The second bedroom scene was... Door 1 was so stupidly good. Like, This game is just... We're along for the ride at this point. We are along for the fucking ride. Alright. It goes on. For the day to things to go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe... Oh, this is so sad. Every good VN has to give us trust issues. What was that? I feel like I might need to turn on another light in the background soon. I don't like how dark it gets in my room past 8. This is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night. A sound like dripping water. At first, she thought it was raining, so she looked through the window and there wasn't a cloud in the sky to cover the stars. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought, so she stepped out of her room and into the corridor. Compared to her room, it was unearthly chilly. The maid had regretted not bringing something to cover herself with. But that didn't make any sense. Normally, the temperature wasn't that much colder outside her room. Her night clothes had always been more than enough for a trip to the laboratory. Wondering what the reason could be, she made her way toward the sound, and then she realized something. There were no faucets in the direction she was going. Rather, she was headed toward a hall. The mansion where she lived had many halls, but this one was off in a far corner of the house, the least used hall of them all. It had a high roof, but not a lot of space, so it was difficult to make good use of. It also had a somewhat heavy air to it, a very curious room. It was the kind of place you might assign someone to clean as part of their hazing. Anyway, when the maid realized the sound was coming from that particular hall, she, as you might expect, let out an uncomfortable sigh. Asking Dots what door is his favorite. I think he said he really likes 3. But there might be a leak, and having noticed it, she couldn't simply ignore it, you know? So, as much as she hesitated, she pushed open the doors to the hall. There was nobody there, and it didn't look like anything was leaking either. There were no puddles or water stains anywhere to be found. You're asking him to choose a favorite child. Oh my. But she could still hear the sound, the drip, drip, getting louder and louder. Slowly stepping further into the room, looking left, then looking right, then left again, she searched for the source of the sound, coming to a stop in the center of the hallway. I can say, but I don't want to give away how many doors there may be. Oh. Okay, so we could accept that as my favorite door has not yet been reached. I think that's an acceptable answer. Interesting. She stood there still, quiet, and then a chilly spot on the nape of her neck. Okay. With a little yelp, she reached back to feel her neck, but it wasn't wet. Confused, she slowly, warily tilted her head backward. And there hung a bloody skeleton from the ceiling. Okay. That's rich. Amazing. Oh my god. You scream like a little girl. Okay, this song is back though. Maria, you little... My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Whose words were those again? Shut your mouth! How do you know about that? Were you eavesdropping? And another thing, I do not care for this sort of stupid, fantastical tales you women so love to pass around. Because they scare you? You've never been able to handle anything scary, Jacopo. Whoa, don't glare at me like that. You're gonna destroy my insides. So, did you come here for the sole purpose of telling me that cheap tripe? Acting tough for the fact... After the fact, just makes you look twice as much of a wuss. Well, I mean, I did make up for a good half of it, but the maid really did hear a sound in the middle of the night, and it came from the back hall of this very mansion. Did you know they say it used to be a chapel? Again, I have no interest in you women's little ghost stories. Is that so? You sure you're not just scared? Maria! Well, that said, the rumors aren't completely unfounded. This is a pretty old mansion, and it's had a lot of work done on it. Kinda feels like it's barely holding itself together. Like a big old quilt with pieces from all different time periods. And the back hall is one of the oldest places. There's a huge window on the far end, and supposedly there used to be stained glass in it. Oh, interesting. It was a depiction of an archangel, they say. Such a shame. I wonder when it was broken. If it were still there, I bet it'd be worth a fortune. I find that hard to believe. First of all, why would anyone put a chapel inside a mansion? You got a point, I guess. Now, how about you do some actual work instead of distracting yourself with all this nonsense? Was it Archangel Raphael? Oh. I do enjoy him. I do work, but the other maids can be a bit nasty, you know? Dealing with other women is like walking on glass. Am I to blame for that? What if I said you were? Haha, don't give me that look. They're just not fond of me, simple as that. Nothing you can do about it. Is that so? Oh yeah, I was talking to the madam and she was telling me you used to be quite the gentleman. Were you perhaps actually in love back then? You sure don't act like it, so it's easy to miss. But I guess you're not made entirely out of steel. Just like when you were younger, you're still... Do not speak of that. Oh, Maria knew him from childhood. The past is not worth remembering. It is unnecessary. So, to you, the past exists just to be cast aside? Nah, it's not important. You don't want me to talk about it. I won't talk about it. But your wife... Never mind. I'll leave you be. I have to get back to work soon, so I'll be staring down the head of Maid's Arctic smile. Alright. If the fancy strikes me, I'll drop by, and we can trade more ghost stories. Rhea? What? No ghost stories? No, not that. I have not forgotten those days. But, no, I'll be off then. Alright. If the fancy strikes you, drop by and we can trade something other than ghost stories. Ha! But I tell ya, I'll consider it. Goodbye. God damn it. Can't escape anything. Alright. I think, guys, this is where we make our stopping point in Fata Morgana for tonight. Because it's community night, and I want to get to it. So we're getting to this next situation. There will be more Fata Morgana tomorrow night. In the meantime, I'm going to set up Jackbox, and we are going to do silly community games for the rest of the night. Give me 5 to 10 minutes to go to the bathroom and set everything up, and then we will get going with that. So I will see you guys in just a bit.